Arise correspondent Adesuwa Giwa-Osagie now joins us live from Johannesburg. Good morning, Adesuwa. We miss you here,
Good morning, Mr.
we miss you here, but you're doing a great job there.
Good morning, Mr. Steve.
All right. Good morning. Good morning. All right. Talk to us, Adesuwa. Two quick things from me, first and foremost. Bring us up to speed on what is happening in South Africa. It looks like the big part of the news seems to be those who are not in South Africa instead of those who have arrived already. We know, of course, that the US is not coming. They've officially pulled out. But, of course, we also know that the Russian president is also not coming. But what about China? What about Argentina? What about a few other countries that we do not have their heads of state or presidents attending? Does that say something about the quality of attendance this year? And then secondly, if you can take that together, Adesuwa, we're pitching on the sidelines of G20. We're pitching for investment. We're asking people to come here. But then we're dealing with serious insecurity issues. A number of the governors who are there, many of the schools in their domain haven't closed because of what is happening abroad. Is this the right time to be doing the jamboree that we are currently, doing in South Africa? Is it the right time?
Well, Mr. Steve, lovely to see you again, as I said earlier. And I just wanted to note that I also miss you too. I miss you all back in Lagos. Now, as you asked for an update on who is here and what's happening right now, South Africa's vice president is currently welcoming dignitaries right where I am in the Nasrec Center here in Johannesburg. South African president and chief host Cyril Ramaphosa is expected to give a speech at 10 a.m. Central African time, which is around 9 a.m. our time. So very shortly, he will be giving the welcome address. And you asked who is here and who is not here. Of course, the United States is not here, and a delegation has not been sent. The Chinese president, Russian president, Argentinian president, and Mexican president are also not here, but they all sent delegations. And the Chinese delegation actually met with the South African delegation yesterday. Cyril Ramaphosa hosted them. Some high-ranking members of the Chinese government are here. And if you're asking, what does that mean about the legitimacy of the very first G20 holding in Africa? Well, as South Africa's Minister of International Relations said, there has never been a G20 with 100% attendance or 100% perfect attendance. The only country that's really making an issue of the G20 being hosted in South Africa is the United States, is American President Donald Trump. And it seems that the rest of the world has sort of ignored him. The reasons for the other leaders not coming are all different. Of course, Russian President Vladimir Putin is currently engaged in a war with Ukraine and also has a warrant out for his arrest, which would have put South Africa in a tricky position if he did attend the G20. So there are different reasons why some world leaders have not come, but they did send delegates here. And of course, you asked about Nigeria and what we're doing on the sidelines. Yesterday, of course, we had Nigerian governors from different states trying to get investment into their states. And I asked them the very pressing question. As we were sat there yesterday, we got the news of another mass kidnapping of a school of schoolgirls in Niger State. And so I asked the governors, is this a time to come and do this? And they said, we have to do both things at the same time. We must fight insecurity at home, but we must also get investment. Now, Governor of Kaduna State, Basani, he said that it is very important for us to understand the terror and the insecurity in Nigeria also has to do with our economic situation, and that basically poverty allows the terrorists and the bandits to be able to recruit more and more people. And so if we get more investment, if we improve our economic situation, then this insecurity situation would reduce. So maybe not so much a jamboree, but maybe coming to the global stage and trying to get investment, particularly intra-African investment, and utilizing the AFCTA to move Nigeria forward.
Great, Adesuwa, thank you for that. And I guess my main question is just the fact that it feels like we're always talking about the potentials of intra-African trade, but if we want to talk about tangibles, what are you hearing about when we can actually see intra-African trade positively impact people's lives in a real way and beyond just, hypotheses?
It's a very, very important point you raised there. Intra-African trade is about 14%. That's a very, very small number compared to other areas in the world. When we think about some of the actual things that we're seeing, we have infrastructure investments. I spoke to the senior vice president of AFC, the Africa Finance Corporation, and he was talking about the infrastructure investments that they're making to essentially link Southwest Nigeria to Niger. So a lot of what is being spoken about has more to do with infrastructure, possibly getting investment into our mining areas. But when it comes to intra-African trade, we do need to work on things such as visas. It's incredibly difficult for Nigerians to get visas here into South Africa. But, our vice president did arrive yesterday, Kashim Shettima. The coordinating minister of the economy, Wale Adesuwa, is also here, as well as our foreign minister, Ambassador Tuga. So those are some questions that I think we're going to have to ask them later on today, because, again, Nigeria is trying to move forward, and they're trying to do so basically utilizing the goodwill of our neighbors and also relying on partnerships in the global south. And I think a good example of that is the recent partnership that Nigeria and Brazil have undertaken. So apart from intra-African trade, I think it's a G20 in Africa is a time where the global south is coming together to position itself in this new multipolar order. Like Mr. Steve said earlier, we're talking about who's not here, but who is here. Jamaica is here, Namibia is here, Nigeria is here. We have so many leaders from the global south. Modi is here. He met with the Indian community here in Johannesburg yesterday evening. It was a very beautiful display. So we are seeing leaders come from all over the global south and really support South Africa's leadership of the G20, but also support a partnership as we move into this new multipolar world order.
All right, Adesuwa, I would have loved to ask you about what we should expect from the vice president who is standing in for the president, given that Nigeria is currently, in the eye of the storm at the moment. But of course, you have alluded to the fact that together with the Minister of Finance, they will be reassuring the world, that yes, there are issues back at home, but of course, we still want to survive. We still need partners. We still need investors. So we want to thank you. Adesuwa, I'm sure that we'll get to speak with you a bit more later. Thank you.